Now I believe there's an asteroid heading for a colony, so I was going to show this video because it's pretty exciting. Bunch of fighters come along and blast it away. There's actually a better asteroid video I might show you after this. It's when you find you're basically hunting in the human campaign for these tears crystals that are sort of well, you don't really know what they are. You just hear that they're very powerful and have these amazing things, and you end up finding out that they're sort of these libraries of all sorts of useful information. And it's yeah, I think it's also something to do with seeding, colonising the galaxy, which is of course a storyline they've used in quite a few different sci-fi shows and things. It's, I think that it basically says that these crystals help to seed different forms of humans throughout the galaxy, and that's what created a lot of the aliens. That seems to be the story they're going with here.
Alright, give it a shot.
Fire.
Distance from target 800.
Very dramatic. Look at that, the glasses come down. Yeah, I'm Top Gun, baby.
Target destroyed.
And they unleash everything.
Now give them everything we've got.
Bang. And then there's probably a message about it. The fleet succeeded.
Congratulations, Emperor. Our fleet was able to vaporize the entire meteor cloud. News of their narrow escape had already reached the planet, Emperor. They're celebrating already.
That was another interesting thing. A lot of these moments in Imperium Galactica 1 were actual real live Hungarian actors speaking all the parts. I'm going to show you that other much cooler asteroid video. This is when you find one of the tears crystals.
Our pirate friend was correct, sir. The field looks very dense here. Too dense for our larger ships. Suggest we send in 1 or 2 fighters and try to get them close enough to the crystal
Send
to
in
use
the
tracking
fighters.
devices. Are you sure? You want to send all of them in? There might be too many of them. They might only disturb each other, sir.
Send 5 fighters.
All right, sir.
Here we go. I love this video.
This is the captain's
Reminds me of
We're about to enter the
there's a
asteroid
bit of sort of
field for
Empire
treatment
Strikes
control.
Back here when they're sort of going into asteroid belts and stuff.
Shields to maximum capacity.
Yes, sir! Shields are up!
But yeah, in Imperium Galactica 1 it was all sort of actors doing on that message screen, whereas in this one it's all CGI characters.
Turn the ship around. We're sending in the fighters.
Which was you know, good and bad for different reasons. I mean, the original actors one looked funny because they weren't speaking English, so it had English dubbed over the top of it, so it would look rather strange when they'd be speaking to you. I love all this stuff. I mean, yeah, it feels rather Star Warsy when you've got, you know, these big hangar bays and fighters coming out, giant ships, and you can tell these guys are obviously big fans of that kind of stuff. Plus, Babylon 5 would have been out for and finished its run, in fact, by the time they made this game, so yeah, it probably would have been another influence. In fact, it reminds me of something that came years later. I think it was the second of the Star Wars prequel films, where Obi-Wan was flying through a rather crazy asteroid belt, getting away from the bounty hunter Jango Fett, and got a few moments like this.
Something.
Identification in progress.
I love how dramatic they make it look. It's all very exciting. It was, you know, to watch this kind of stuff as a teenager, it was just like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever.
Diameter 10
Whereas these days, it's kind of like, you know, you've just kind of seen everything, but yeah, it's still enjoyable. It's just shows how the quality of the work they did. The fact that you can still watch this today. I mean, I'm sure if some kid installed this game and he's never played it before, he'd probably be like, oh, this is crap. You know, yeah, you got to appreciate the classics to really still love this game as much as I do.
Reactor being functional. Open
Yeah, we got a crystal.
Target stored.
I've got it. Omega 602, Mission accomplished. Returning to ship.
It was interesting actually how that video and some of the other ones like it have the human battleships that you use in the game, yet in the intro you see different ships that humans are using. I mean, it could be that those ships that you see in the intro and in the human intro are like older human ships from the old age when Kalaron was, you know, ruling with an iron fist over the galaxy or whatever. And perhaps that's why they're different. In fact, I've only just clicked to that. That's probably explains it perfectly. That is the problem with this game, of course. This was released throughout the world, multiple languages and all that, and I suppose there's a couple of gaps in the storytelling that you just had to use a bit of guesswork to figure out what a lot of the videos meant, some of the content you were looking at. I mean, I don't know, maybe it was all nicely explained in the manual. I can't remember now. Now, I reckon we're going to do... There's not much left. I just want to show you a few more cool things, and then I think I'll leave it at that and talk about, yeah, just a couple more things to finish off. So this one was when I believe I got all the races to ally against the Kra'hen. So I've now sort of got all the Tears crystals. Who's the last one left? Special. Yeah, I think I've done it with everyone else. Yeah, I think I've already done it with all these guys. There we go.
Well,
So I don't know if I even got to this moment in my original games back in the early 2000s, and
you have chosen to unite against the evil force.
because I don't think I was ever able to get all the Tears crystals, because usually the Kra'hen would start blasting all the other races, and you kind of need some of them for some of the story events, and I think it actually breaks the story. So in this game I made sure I kept everyone alive,
Have an armada large enough to destroy all opposition in this galaxy.
and sure enough it allowed me to get all the crystals and then get this whole alliance sequence, which sets you up for the end game. Destroy the
Where
Kra'hen.
they come from, we do not know. But we must make sure they return defeated. We must attack all their forces simultaneously, making sure they do not have time to regenerate. Once we have weakened them sufficiently, a full-scale assault will be...
Oh, I might take advantage of this opportunity to show you guys a Gigabomb. You get one for the whole game. Sadly, you can't mass produce it, so why don't I just fire off a Gigabomb at one of the Kra'hen worlds. There it is. 60 days, alright. We'll speed up the game. Oh, sorry. I'm in the middle of a Tears event. This is the moment when you get all the Tears and they tell you all about it. Alright, well I may as well show you this since it's happening. It's something cool. I mean, this is like a big plot moment. You get this message, and it talks all about, like I was saying before, the crystals and their true nature and the seeding of the galaxy and the brotherhood. And it goes for ages. Yeah, I'll just click a button and skip it. But it talks about how what's his name, Kalaron or whatever is going to try and come back. And I can't seem to trigger the events where he does in the Solarian campaign. I mean, maybe he's not meant to. I'm sort of starting to think now, because he seems to come out in one of the Alien campaigns instead. So perhaps that's how it's meant to happen. I don't know. I've actually been talking to one of the devs recently, who's THQ Nordic, who's been patching this game and still, fixing some of the old bugs, which is really cool. And yeah, I might ask him about this one. See if you can see in the event code whether we are missing out on something or whether it is meant to sort of end at this moment, the main storyline stuff. But anyway, so we've got a bomb that's firing. It's counting down. Go, 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 go. Here we go. Good stuff. What about, oh yeah. Yes. I gotta show you guys a good space battle. This was one of the big fleet battles I fought. Annoyingly, the enemy runs halfway through it, but you get to see some serious combat in the middle of it. as you can see, he's got a lot of the big battleships as well. This is like the Antarians or whatever, who look like your standard UFO aliens, Roswell kind of thing. Yeah, Antarian Empire. So,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to keep my positions here, and I'm going to pull my ships back just a bit because I have a forcefully acquired destructor ray from one of the races. I don't think it was the Kra'hen, surprisingly enough. One of the other ones had it, and I acquired it from them. And it takes some time. And if I move in, these guys have jammers. That's the other reason I don't want to get too close. So I'll head in now and start to unleash. Bang! Look at that! Look at that! Isn't that wicked? Destroy ships and there's like a ricochet effect on the other ships as well. And start jamming me. Bang! Yeah, he's running. Cowards! Cowards! The fleet battles can get really exciting in this. The different races have their various sort of favoured weaponry. Like the Shinari can sort of cloak their ships and use weapons that make your own ships turn against you and stuff. And you know, the Kra'hen have their destructor rays you saw then. And yeah, some of the other races have used some interesting weapons as well. I mean, the humans have their weapons, but yeah, I prefer to just steal the alien ones because they're a bit better. The humans sort of just have like powerful laser weapons and stuff like that. But yeah, I think what I will do is now, and I'll show you the Kra'hen star, and just maybe show you some of my favourite videos, and then leave it at that, and just talk about. I think I really hope one of the developers have said that if these re-releases sell well enough, they'll consider doing an Imperium Galactica 3 at THQ Nordic. So, you know, if you're not sure, or you're an original owner of IG2 and you want to have this enhanced version and also support the future and the possibility of getting a sequel, then I strongly encourage you to go buy this on Good Old Games or Steam. The developers seem to be a little more active on Steam, but they do appear to be reading the GOG forum as well. So I'll show you the intro here. I always love the intro to the bad guys, the Kra'hen. It's pretty full on actually. There's a sort of like, you know, slaughtering aliens and all kinds of stuff. They're pretty dark and gloomy, this race, and they seem to like to collect heads of their enemies and put them in these stasis tank things, which is a bit gory. You'll see one at the end of this video. But you know, there's some oh yeah, and they quite like kamikaze tactics as well. But yeah, there's some. What I might do is I'll just let some of these videos, some of my favourite videos, play now from the game while I talk about IG3, because like I said, THQ Nordic have been active in the forums, and they've even said in one of the posts on Steam that they will monitor the sales of Imperium Galactica 1 and 2, and you know, if they do well, then they will certainly consider doing an Imperium Galactica 3, which, you know, us fans have been wanting for so many years. I mean, there was an attempt at Imperium Galactica 3 back in the early 2000s by, I think it was Mythos Entertainment, and possibly some other studios were messing around with it, and it wasn't. Look, I mean, the space battles looked amazing, but they got rid of all the planet stuff. They got rid of like all the sort of Sim City and C&C sort of planet stuff, which was just, you know, I was one of the people complaining on the forums, just going, this is unacceptable. It's not Imperium Galactica anymore. You can't just take one part of the game and call it a sequel. And you know, I think pressure from the fans as well as licensing issues, I think, just resulted in them giving up, and they ended up renaming the game to something else. I think it became Nexus: The Jupiter Incident, and so that was the end of IG3, and we didn't hear anything for years. And then, like around 2012ish, Digital Reality, who had the rights to the Imperium Galactica franchise again, thankfully came back and were attempting a new one, and they were going to do Imperium Galactica Stargazer, which was going to be this online multiplayer Imperium Galactica, which is, you know, it would have been pretty cool, but I mean, I'm not a huge multiplayer person, so I was a little bit disappointed, because I was like, you know, I just want an IG3, you know, I want to go play my story, play my campaign, and kick some AI ass, and you know, it was a bit of a shame that didn't happen. So you know, but it's still even more of a shame that the Stargazer never happened either. So, and that was the end of them. So hopefully THQ Nordic will consider doing an IG3, and if they do, I mean, you know, I'm probably going to post some IG3 wish lists on some of the forums, and so if you're someone hearing this, then I encourage you. In fact, I'll put a link in the video description to go to. I'll put a post on either the Steam forums or some of the other forums out there, and I'll link to that, where you can add your 3 cents to the what you want to see in Imperium Galactica 3. And I'd recommend the Steam one probably, because that's probably where the developers are looking. And yeah, there's all sorts of things I'd love to look at that. Isn't that that's so cinematic, isn't it? And that's pretty gory, isn't it? You know, welcome to death. Ouch. Oh yeah, here we go. There's the head tank issue. Scene, not issue. What's an issue for that guy? Whew. You don't look too good. Kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones, actually, now that I've seen it. The faces. But, oh, I love this. This is one of my favourite videos. Beautiful sunset planet landing sequence. It's just stunning. I mean, this is like cinematic film, you know, movie quality kind of stuff. It's just incredible how they did it. But yeah, anyway, back to IG3. I mean, there's all sorts of things I'd love. I'd love them to bring back the "you're on a ship" thing from Imperium Galactica 1, where you know you're literally in between your missions and Galactic Conquest. You're just walking around this beautiful ship, and every time you get promoted, you get a better ship, and you go to the bar and talk to people and get story stuff there. You go to your quarters and do all sorts of things and look up various information on the races and things. It's just, you know, added so much immersion. And StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty is a great modern example of that, where they, once again, in between the missions, you could spend heaps of time walking around the ships, which was so much fun. And I'd love them to bring that back. I'd love the story to be a little more stable, because you could often sort of freeze the game in both IG1 and IG2 and miss out on more story stuff because you didn't know what the correct objective was. The game wasn't very good at telling you. The fan remake OpenIG did a great job of bringing in proper objectives into the game that made it easy to work out what you had to do, and it'd be great if an official sequel took note of that and did something similar. I'd love a better end-of-year summary, perhaps, since the game's not turn-based. It'd be good if, say, at the end of the year you got a summary of all your planets with issues. That way you don't miss anything. I think Empire Management Screen could be done better. I was talking about earlier how I reckon it's pretty good in Master of Orion 3, and they should have more customizable search options and sorting options and be able to view more planets on the screen. And I can only imagine how good planet surface stuff would be with today's technology. I mean, they could, you know, create bigger planets and beautiful details, and they could do the unique race buildings again, like an IG1. If they do it simply and just give each race about 10 or 20 sort of building blocks of alien looking stuff that then they can sort of like a jigsaw move around into different positions for different buildings, and then have like a generic thing in the center of the building, say like a glowing thing for a fusion plant, so it's the same across all the races, but on the outside they got different alien stuff. You could do it like low cost, and I think that'd be fine. So that was an idea I was sort of throwing out there. Building upgrades was something wicked that they introduced in the OpenIG project. I love that. A lot of the buildings had like up to 5 levels of upgrades, which was great on tiny planets where you could have like a fusion plant with 300% output and stuff like that, because that was one of the best energy makers in the original game, whereas it's a low-level building in this one. But you know, like the better, let me see, in space battles. The graphics, of course, is great in this one, so I'd love to see a modern equivalent to that. Balancing could use some work, as the Kra'hen super weapon is just ridiculously overpowered. As you saw me just blasting people from miles away, it was just too powerful. You know, there could be a bit more balancing with that. The Shinari as well could just sit there cloaked and turn all the enemy ships against each other. It was just way too overpowered. And also laser fire was too slow. Like if you had 1,000 fighters shooting at your ships, it was rather annoying. You'd be firing a laser every few seconds, like one laser. Whereas in the original game there was lots of fast firing lasers, so it'd be good if they did something like that again in a sequel. And you know, in planet battles they could increase the variety of units. You could have like soldier units. I mean, we saw them in the videos to this game, so we know they're there. And you could have more of a, say, a Dune 2 Command and Conquer like experience. We've got lots of little soldier units in different varieties of soldier units, bazooka guys and laser guys and all that kind of stuff. Would be, you know, there's definitely lots of little areas they can improve the game. But yeah, and I love this video. This is sort of at the end of the Shinari game. We actually get to see Kilaron being brought out of stasis to cause mayhem amongst the galaxy. So it's actually the Shinari who wake him up to stop the humans' plans for unifying the galaxy against the Kra'hen, because they make money from the destruction. I love this sequence. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? That's that same planet with the river and stuff, except, yeah, lots of action and explosions. Isn't that stunning? What a great game. I think I'll leave it there, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like I said, go to Steam, go support the game. I'll have links on my end card and description. Thanks. Bye.